So I want to speak about the state of absurdity, otherwise known as Victoria. Today, millions of Victorians are waiting with bated breath for Dan Andrews' daily press conference, where Dear Leader is expected to announce a harsh stage 4 lockdown where only supermarkets, chemists and service stations are allowed to trade. If those restrictions are imposed, expect to see many more lives and livelihoods destroyed. And expect to see another surge in Victorians battling mental health issues, joblessness and financial pressures combined with isolation and loneliness. It didn't have to be like this. It didn't have to be like this at all. From the very start of this pandemic, Victoria had the harshest lockdown in Australia, was the slowest in lifting restrictions, and then was the only state to impose a second lockdown after gross mishandling of the hotel quarantine program allowed the virus to spread during the first lockdown. We are now 4 weeks into this second lockdown, and yet numbers continue to climb. Victoria has now recorded more coronavirus cases and deaths than every other state and territory combined. It's pretty damn clear that lockdowns are not a substitute for competent governance. Victoria's contact tracing program is also an utter mess, and we learned this week that those infected with coronavirus are allowed to break quarantine thanks to Victoria's Human Rights Charter. Yes, Victoria's Chief Health Officer Brett Sutton said, "People who have no pardon and have no other option have a right to exercise. The Victorian Charter of Human Rights and Responsibilities is clear that if you are not giving people an option to exercise, then you are effectively putting them in prison, and that is not something that could be done for a case of coronavirus." Well, that's nice. Isn't it reassuring to know that the right to exercise for those who have tested positive to COVID-19 is being protected, while millions of healthy people aren't allowed to work, attend school, or see their loved ones? Victoria's ill-conceived Charter of Human Rights also played a considerable part in 1 in 3 coronavirus tests being refused, compared to just a 2% refusal rate in New South Wales. You can thank far-left former Attorney-General Rob Holes for Victoria's Human Rights Charter, the same Rob Holes who stacked the judiciary with civil libertarians and Labor-aligned appointments. What a legacy. Meanwhile, as Victorians brace for more crippling restrictions, the rest of the country is slowly returning to normal, with businesses open, kids at school, restaurants and bars full, sporting clubs back training, and families enjoying get-togethers. Incompetence has consequences. When we are through this catastrophe, there must be a royal commission into Victoria's mishandling of the coronavirus crisis, from the hotel quarantine fiasco to contact tracing failures to the lives destroyed by lockdown.